Welcome back, everyone, to the Art of a Peaceful Mind. I'm Kim Root, your host, and today we have with us Linda Edgecombe. She's a motivational speaker and the author of a best-selling book called Breaking Busy, and we're all very busy these days, many of us anyway. And there's many things in that book that called me to be excited to talk to Linda here today. So welcome, Linda. How are you today?
It's a pleasure to be on the show. So thank you. Appreciate it. Love talking about busyness, especially this time of year.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah, the holidays. I know I teach yoga and my students always get so excited about the holiday coming, and then the day after they're all like so emotional and upset and
and I mean, truthfully, so I mean, you and I do this work, but I mean, I've really had a tough week. What? I know it's going to happen. I know I'm going to be blue. I decided yesterday, like one of my favorite terms this last few months has been, I'm letting myself off the hook. So I just have to park my own judgment. Oh yeah, I'm a motivational speaker, but I'm going to embrace the solstice and just be okay with being blue. Happens all the time.
Right. So let's see. I have a few questions for you here. That one of the other things that you are called is a change resilience strategist. Can you explain what that is to me?
Yeah, just called marketing. No, but truthfully, everybody is so sick of, oh gosh, I got to do another change. I mean, as human beings, all we have is constant change, and all we do as human beings is resist it. There's a beautiful. I took a picture of this truck driving down the highway in my town, and at the top, the only flowchart I ever have on my presentation is, "Are you happy? Yes, great. Keep doing what you're doing. Are you happy? No. No is the answer. Then the biggest part of that question is, do you want to be? And although I think most of us would say, yes, I want to be happy. Yes, I want to be happy. I'd say, actually, no. Most of us don't want to be happy, because if you want to be happy, you have to change something. And you have to lean in and all of us resist it. And if you want proof of that, think about the stories that you keep rehashing with your friends, right? So if you have good friends, we gather our friends because they'll support our case. I agree with you. You're right. That's a good friend. But a really good friend will also tell you the truth when you've been telling the same story over and over and over and over for whether it's 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, 2 decades. When you're going out for your walk or your tea or whatever, that you're saying the same things you've been saying for so long. You're complaining about the same things. So when we say, are you happy? Do you really want to be? If it's a yes, then we have to lean in and change something. So if I'm a change resiliency expert or whatever strategist, I really I'm passionate about leaning into the mirror. And It's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah. So talk about that a little bit. What is leaning into the mirror? You're talking about leaning into the mirror, meaning looking at ourselves, right?
Yes. And right now, I'm going, oh man, I could have done my hair, whatever. So I'm 58. It probably took me until I was, and I've been literally speaking. I'm in my 26th year. So I have been in self-development world for a long time. And it took me till about maybe it was 8 years ago when I actually said, okay, I'm on stage doing my thing. So full of crap, pardon me, being such a hypocrite, not doing anything that I'm saying.
Uh-oh.
And I came to a point where I said, I can't do this anymore. I have to start being part of this. I had to ask myself, how did I get this cranky? How did I get this overweight? How did I get this neurotic? How did I get this anxious? Where has all this come from? Because I knew it wasn't me. So I myself leaned into the mirror, which I call the work, because all of us have work. And work can be in your professional, how you make a living work. Work can be in your relationship work. Work can be with your children, your teenage, whatever the work is. You have aging parents. We all have some work. And if you have some work, I believe that we need to lean into the work. It's where it's cliche, but it's the truth. That's why it's cliche. it's where all the growth is. It's where all the discovery is. It's where but it's not comfortable though. So because it's not comfortable, we tend to sort of back away from the work. And if you back away from the work, you'll sit there and spin for infinity. And but if you lean into the work, the discomfort, the difficult conversation, the parts of me that I see in myself that I don't actually like so much, and work on that, then you get to a place of discovery, which is where you maybe read a book that you, oh my gosh, it was just so inspiring, or you meet a new person like I'm meeting you today on the show. So you've always been there, but I didn't lean in yet, so I didn't meet you. Do you understand? That's what things happen in discovery that we're waiting, have always been there waiting for you, but we're just not quite ready for it yet.
Right. So we're afraid of it, or it's scary. Yeah. So we stay on the surface. It seems like it would be, but when we lean in, that's also where the satisfaction is, right?
Oh, the joy, the everything. Absolute everything. Yeah. Everything we've ever wanted is on the other side of our fear of the unknown. Everything is on the other side of that. Yeah. So,
so for the people watching today, they're attracted to peaceful mind and discovering their intuition and having inner strength. Do you have some?
Yeah.
What would you say to them? How to start, or you know, what do we lean into? Or
if I was just good, you know, if I was going to start something today, I would intentionally carve 10 to 20 minutes in your day, beginning or end, or bookend it. Actually, if you look at people who literally have really high, well, if I did a survey with you, have really high levels of satisfaction in their lives. They have what I call as a practice and a process to their day. So they know intentionally before their feet hit the floor in the morning, coming out of bed, how they're going to start their day to set themselves up and how they're going to end their day. So they have a practice, and they carve that time intentionally. Whether that is you make the best cup of tea ever, and you sit and you enjoy that cup of tea, and maybe just sit in sort of quietness for a few minutes. I mean, we're not talking sitting there for an hour. I'm just saying, give yourself 10 minutes, but you take it intentionally. It could be going for a walk. It could be, you know, you take your dog out, or that you meditate, whatever the thing is for you. And but you practice. That's a practice. That takes practice. It's in the quietness. So if you're going to do something intentionally to bring you to this place of knowing your intuition and trusting your intuition, you have to quiet the noise. And so my practice is that I walk every day. I have a dog, which is probably, that's why I walk every day. And now I do it without the dog, but I still have a dog. So, and I love being in nature. I like being on trails. I don't like, and I live in an area of, you know, the world that I've got lots of trails and lots of nature and lots of beautiful scenery. And it's in the quietness that you can hear yourself think, because intuition and ideas and creativity they're floating around all the time. But if you're so full, if you've got so much going on, if your plate is so overwhelming, the ideas, the creativity, and your intuition will bounce off somewhere else because you haven't got any space to take it in the first place. You have to carve that space. And when you do that, things like your stress hormone, cortisol, will start to lower, which if you want motivation, and it's a great time of year for this, if you are over 35 and you ever want to drop a pound of body fat off your body, the only way you can do that as we age is to lower stress hormone. And the only way you do that is by quietening all of the noise and all the stuff and all the worry, and carve that time. So it's a practice that you have to take seriously for yourself and practice it, however that looks for you.
Right. So then I know another thing that you like to talk about is, why do we do this in the first place? Why do we keep, as you say, pile so much on our plate? Maybe literally on our food plate, but in our life too.
Well, because I am in the business and have observed myself and wanted to get better, I had to figure out, how did I get here? Like, I think I'm a smart woman. How did I buy into this crazy lifestyle. And I look at how my parents were, how in one generation did we go from being so, well, me anyway, raised quite liberally to do, come home when the street lights are on kind of thing. I mean, my dad didn't even know where my schools were, to being parents that are so hovering. We've got kids in 3 sports and 2 arts classes and taekwondo, and then if we're not renovating our house right now, we're going to build a new house. And if we're and then we've got the kids, then we've got fundraising, and there's fundraising and selling tickets and this and that. And like, when did we buy the ticket to this ride? But we created it. And then, so when I ask my audience, so how do you normally respond to how are you doing? Because people ask you that question every day. How are you doing?
Yeah, fine.
And the most common response is fine. Or busy.
Or the truth. Yeah, busy.
Well, the reason I believe we say fine is because I don't want to get into it, and you don't want me to get into it. So we kind of we want to have manners. So we say fine. Mm-hmm. But what fine has done to us is this is a beautiful excuse to not change the damn thing. Fine just keeps us right here. And look at me, I'm wearing beige. I always say fine is very beige, and I'm wearing beige. It's a flat line. It's not great, but it's not bad, and so we're fine. But really, the most common answer to the how you're doing question these days is busy. In fact, busy has become number 1, and fine has become number 2. And the reason busy has become number 1 is because we get better feedback for busy than we do for fine. People say things to us like, oh my gosh, how do you do it? Wow, that's amazing. And so that feedback is stroking our egos, and we think we feel good about ourselves because our egos are being stroked, when in fact, and your listeners will appreciate this because this is what they've come here for, we have forgotten or have never even learned how to actually nurture our souls and our spirits. The places, the parts of us that actually bring us joy, and as I call it, the seal clap, when you're just so happy about something. Like, when's the last time you felt that in your skin? Like, oh, I love it. Like, seriously, I do that on stage and people look at me like I got 3 heads. I'm going, I mean it. Like, when's the last time in your skin you felt just great? Mm-hmm. They're like, no, because we just become this flat line. Mm. Yeah, I call fine the other F word, to be honest with you. Flat line. I know I'm a bit abrupt, but the style.
So then, how would you say that we can find or get the clarity that we really want? From this busy place, from the scattered place, from not really leaning in and watching clearly?
There's a few ways. I have a what I call an alive audit that you can do. People already know this. They actually do intuitively know already which areas of their life need a little time and attention. But I do a little alive audit, and you can go to my site and download it and do it and just be honest with yourself and give yourself a rating, and you can figure out which areas of your life need some. So it just gives you a bit of a snapshot. Okay, there's that. That's a bit of a thing. And when I ask people, so what is it you really want? For years and years, like my database, I don't know. Do you ever get sick of saying and hearing yourself say, I don't know. No, actually, I think we all do know. We just don't want to admit we know, because if we admit we know, we might have to do something about it. Mm-hmm. And, there's lots of ways of getting to, what it is you really want. What you actually really want is, how do you really want to feel most of the time? That's what I would ask you to think about. What emotional state do you actually want to feel most of the time? Mm. And there's a great sort of like a pretend. If I was a genie and I offered you any wish you wanted, write that down. What if you could have anything, but you can't wish for more than one wish, and you can't wish to take away someone else's free will, meaning that if they don't love you, you can't make them. And so you write down whatever the wish is, and then you have to picture yourself. You got to literally see yourself. If you just got this wish, what would I be doing? What would my life be like? Where would I be going? How would I be living? And you got to see yourself in that picture. And then if you can see yourself in that picture, then you can ask yourself, so when you've got this wish and you're living your life this way now, what does all that make you feel? What is the emotion attached to now having that in your life? And whatever the emotion attached to that is, what could be peace, it could be joy, it could be calm, it could be freedom, it could be safe, whatever the emotion is, that's what you really want.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling that way is what you really want. And so what I do is I encourage my audiences to, because I'm a real big believer in experiments. I think when we say, okay, and now moving forward, January 1st, you're going to not, eat bread again. No. How about we just experiment for a couple of weeks with no bread and see how that goes? If it feels good, then you keep going. If it doesn't feel good, you don't keep going. So the experiment for me, that would be for the next few days, whatever the emotional state that you come to when you realize that's what you want to feel more, peace, joy, calm, whatever the word is, make your decisions that will make your decisions that come across your plate all the time. Am I going out? Am I getting groceries? Am I going to visit a friend? Am I going to watch this show? Whatever you're going to do, based on getting you to that emotional state. Mm-hmm. And just practice that for a couple of days and see how that goes. Well, I guarantee you it'll go great, because I know it will. And if it feels great, and so much weight will come off your shoulders of feeling like all this stuff you should be doing. So just do the experiment. And that's how I get people to act on and move on, some of the things that they've been avoiding and are afraid of.
So I think I hear you saying that you look for the emotional state that you want to be in. How do you want to feel? And then the experiment is that we already know what it is that will take us there. We just have to play with it and do it.
Give it a whirl. Try it on for a few days. Right. You can say to yourself, but human nature is we don't like the extremes. And I just want people to experience what it feels like when you honor yourself that way. And actually, and also experience, it's just basically you're giving yourself permission to take your life back. And
right, because it feels like it's been taken away by all these busy things that we've.
And it was crazy. One of the biggest activities or exercises I do with any audiences, or whoever's in my database, when I do challenges, I will, here's something, just if you really want to push in and lean in, here's something you can try. And this is where I get the biggest pushback. Think of all the roles you play in your life. Parent, spouse, grandparent, caregiver, toilet washer, cook, whatever it is you do, all the things you do. I'm a coach, I'm involved in my churches, whatever you do, everything you do. List everything, write down whether it's an energizer or a drainer. And some things definitely are energizer and drainers, parenting. But everything, list everything. Choose one role that's a drainer, and let it go for a couple weeks. And it's when I do that exercise with my audiences, it's like I suck the air out of the room. No one wants to talk. No one wants to let go of anything. We're so afraid that if I don't make the cookies for the cookie exchange this year, I don't know, the sky's going to fall in or something. I mean, it is just crazy. I go, literally, I'm asking 2 weeks. Don't get the groceries. Let someone else get the groceries. And we have this attachment. If I don't do it, and somebody else does it, or whatever, some people will think something about us. I know we have to let go of control of something, because if you want space and time to figure out what you really want, you need to take something off the plate. You just have to. Got to create some space.
So then there's something we're getting out of
totally
not letting go of that thing.
Absolutely. There's a reason why we keep saying the same story over and over and over and over and over. There's the same reason why I keep complaining about my spouse for years and years and years and years whenever I get together with my girlfriends. You're getting something out of it. You have a story you can, pardon me, bitch about. We will hang on even when it does us absolutely no favors. To lots of things. That's when I say lean into the mirror, that's what I call the ugly truth. The ugly truth. There's lots of ugly truths. We're human beings. We're all very human. We all have lots of beautiful highlights, and when you know that you have lots of beautiful highlights, hopefully you can embrace the stuff that's kind of a bit of a low light. Sorry.
we, it's, through doing that, we can have compassion for each other
Totally.
and know and be humble, you know.
You know, my I have a lot. When I get introduced to go and speak on stage, you know, I make a joke about my introduction because it's pretty beefy. You know, this award, that award, philanthropist of the year. I mean, lots of great things, and it's all truths. But those are just, that's the highlight reel.
Mm.
And the only way I can actually embrace, and they are all true, I can embrace those is I have a lot of lowlights. I'm very human. I'm highly flawed. And I say to every audience I'm in, there's not one of us in this space today that's got it together. Nobody has it together. And when you can embrace that about yourself, you can stop trying to look like you have it together. And you can take that energy, because that takes a lot of energy, trying to look like I've got it together, and put that into something that's actually going to have an impact for the planet. There's so much energy put into this image of trying to, like, oh, I've got him anyway. I love being flawed. And I love being able to say it. I like having the platform to talk about it. That's for sure.
Right. It's comfortable and it's honest. Well, maybe it feels comfortable to be honest. So.
I'll be on, again, I've said this to a few colleagues because I've been at this a long time, and they just saw my colleagues at a conference, speakers from across North America. And I go, it's pretty cool to be a woman at 58 and be able to say and do what I do on stage at this point in my life. It's a giant privilege to be able to, I don't have to impress anybody anymore. I don't have to check off any more boxes. I don't feel like I have to grind, but I am flat out, shoot from the hip, tell it like it is. And I just think it's the best deal ever. I just think it's awesome. Yep.
The privileges of being over 50 and
yeah,
being honest. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So we have a few minutes left. I'd like to invite you to talk about what you have to offer for the audience today.
Sure. Okay. If you want a free copy, it's an e-copy of my latest book, Breaking Busy, Finding Peace in the Chaos. The reason I wrote Breaking Busy is that when I had sort of, when the stars collided and I said, okay, I need to do something, I went and walked across the Camino. Now, some people will know what that is. And the Camino is a pilgrimage that's been walked on in northern Spain for thousands of years. And people do it for whatever different reasons. Mine was I just wanted to exit out of my life for a month and walk. And so I went and walked the Camino, 500 miles, 800 plus kilometers. And so when I wrote Breaking Busy, I wanted to figure out, how did I get here? So I did some research on this whole, like, the evolution of us. And I really do think that once we got cable television, I really think that tells you how old I am. Once cable television streamed into our living rooms every day, we got a little more scared. And that fear created, sort of welled up, and it's because our parents didn't have that. I mean,
we got scared because of the information coming in, or
just nonstop, right? So news was just all the time. So we started parenting differently ourselves, and all those things. I think that's sort of how we kind of started with this busyness thing, and then it's just become a badge of honor. But so I also talk in Breaking Busy about my experience of walking across 800 plus kilometers by myself, because I didn't go with anybody. I didn't go on a tour. I just walked, me and my backpack, and I was highly miserable the entire time I was out there, because it snowed and rained 30 out of 35 days. So I was like, I missed the point completely, which makes it kind of funny. But so if you go to my website, which is just my name, lindaedgecombe.com, and Edgecombe with an E on the end, EDGECOMBE, lindaedgecombe.com. It's right there. It's right. I mean, just grab it if you'd like.
We'll have a link for it here too, I believe.
Perfect. If you would like to give yourself, because it is the time of year, if you're seeing this sort of in the early part of 2019, I don't know when this will be shown, but if you want to do an audit, just for information for yourself, you can burn it when you're done. You can download that free audit at a website called thealiverevolution.com. And that's my website as well. And there's lots of cool stuff on that website, but it's just a PDF, download, print it, do the audit. The instructions are on the bottom. It's just going to say choose one area that needs some time and attention, which you probably know right now. But just it'll be obvious to you. Choose one area, one only, and put some time and energy into it for a couple of weeks. That's what I would really highly suggest. And because all that life is to me is physics, meaning that motivation doesn't come from me blabbing at you. Motivation comes from you putting one foot in front of the other, moving into something. And when we do that, inertia happens. That's the physics part of this. So if you put a little time and energy into something, inertia will start and it'll go into something else. It'll start to move on you, for you.
So yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here with us. Is there anything else that you want to?
No. Just if you have any questions, if you get to my site, there's tons of tools and tips, and there's some very funny video clips. If you need a laugh, there's lots there for you. I pride myself on being pretty funny, and so I've got some of my better funny stuff on there. And if you have any questions, just email me, and I'll answer anything.
Okay, great. Yeah, I did read that you were really known as being a very hilarious motivational speaker, and voted one of the top 60 motivational speakers in the world, right?
Crazy, right? I know.
Another one of your
I'm going for it. If that's it.
Yeah, right. Why not?
Yeah.
So
thank you.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being here with us, Linda, and thank you to everybody for watching today, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Have a great year.